眠りにつく直前のその数分間、あなたは自分自身に、そして自分の運命に対して呪いをかけてはいないでしょうか。もしあなたが今日一日の不満、誰かへの憎しみ、あるいは明日への漠然とした恐怖を抱きしめたまま布団に入っているのなら、それは自らの手で不幸の種をまき、その種に早く育て、もっと大きく育てと闇の肥料を与えていることと全く同じなのです。人生が苦しいのは時代のせいでも他人のせいでもありません。あなたが夜、宇宙に対して不幸の注文を出し続けているからに他ならないのです。このことに気づかぬ限り、あなたの人生に朝日が昇ることは永遠にありません。本日は皆様がオギヤーと生まれてから死ぬその瞬間まで一日たりとも欠かすことなく行っているある極めて重大な儀式についてお話しせねばなりません。そう、それは眠るという行為です。皆様は睡眠を単なる休息だと思ってはおられませんか。電池が切れた機械が充電器に戻るように、ただ疲れた体を横たえ、意識を失って時間を潰すだけの物理的な生理現象だと、そう高をくくってはいないでしょうか。ああ、なんと嘆かわしい。その浅はかな認識こそが、皆様がいつまでたっても苦悩の泥沼から抜け出せず、漠然とした不安の霧の中をさまよい続けている諸悪の根源なのであります。はっきり申し上げましょう。睡眠とは単なる休息ではありません。それは皆様の魂が肉体という重い潜水服を脱ぎ捨てて、本来の故郷である大宇宙、目には見えない実在の世界である霊界へと里帰りを果たし、そこで汚れたエネルギーを選択し、傷ついた魂を修復し、明日という新世界を創造するための設計図を受け取る、極めて神聖かつ壮大な霊的儀式なのです。私が長年、この世とあの世の境界を見つめ続け、万物の流転を観察して確信している絶対的な真理があります。それは、人生の勝負は、朝起きてから始まるのではなく、夜、布団に入ってから眠りに落ちるまでの間に、すでに決しているということです。世の中の多くの指南書は、早起きは三文の徳などと言い、朝の習慣ばかりを説きます。もちろん、朝も大切です。しかし、いかに素晴らしい朝を迎えようとしても、その前夜の眠り際が汚れていれば、すべては水の泡なのです。土台が腐った家の上に、どんな立派な柱を建てようとしても立たないのと同じ理屈です。なぜなら、この大宇宙には、微塵の狂いもない厳然たる法則があるからです。それは、皆様が発した思い、言葉、そして心の波長が、そのまま増幅されて、皆様のもとへ帰ってくるという反響の法則、すなわち因果応報の法則です。そしてこの法則が、皆様の理性のブレーキが外れ、魂が丸裸になる入眠の時にこそ、最も無防備に、かつ劇的に作用するからであります。今日は、私が皆様に、寝る前に宇宙と太いパイプでつながり、人生を根底から立て替えるための極意を、余すところなくお授けいたしましょう。これは、どこかの学者が書いた机上の空論ではありません。私自身が、幾多の苦難、投獄、迫害という嵐の中で、それでもなお笑い飛ばし、人生を芸術のごとく楽しみ尽くし、奇跡のような展開を幾度となく引き寄せてきた源泉となる、生きた知恵、血の通った真理であります。さて、まずは現状の皆様の姿を、鏡に映すようにありのままに申し上げましょう。直視するのは辛いかもしれませんが、病の治癒は、まず病巣を知ることから始まります。現代人の夜の過ごし方は、霊的な視点から見れば、目を覆いたくなるほど惨憺たるものです。床につく直前まで、垂れ流される悲惨なニュース、誰かの悪口、憎悪を煽るような議論、あるいは嫉妬をかき立てる他人の虚飾に満ちた自慢話を、これでもかというほど脳みそに浴びせ続けている。そこに乗っている想念の毒を、皆様は無防備に飲み込んでいるのです。そして、布団に入るとどうなるか。脳は興奮し、心はざわつき、神経は張り詰めたままです。そこへ持ってきて、今日あった嫌な出来事が、壊れたレコードのように頭の中で再生されます。 なぜ上司はあんなひどいことを言ったのか、あの店員の態度は許せない、私はなんてダメな人間なんだ。お金が足りない、将来が不安だ、病気が怖い。皆様は神聖なる再生の場であるはずの布団をまるで心のゴミ捨て場のように扱っておられる。一日の汚れ、悲しみ、怒り、汚物をすべて寝室に持ち込み、それを抱き枕のようにして眠りにつく。よろしいですか。ここからが震えるほど恐ろしい話です。人間が眠りにつくとき、潜在意識という日常の理性のガードが下がり、潜在意識というより広大で宇宙意識と直結した扉がパカンと全開になります。この潜在意識は善悪の判断をしません。これは冗談だ、これは本心ではないという言い訳も通じません。ただそこに入ってきた情報を絶対的な真実として受け入れ、それを忠実に機械的に現実化しようとする巨大な自動製造機のようなものです。眠りさえうとうとして意識が朦朧としているその瞬間、いわば催眠状態にあるその時に、皆様が許せないという像を抱いていれば、宇宙のコンピュータはこう入力します。ほう、この人間は憎しみという周波数を求めているのか、憎しみが好きなのか、ならば、明日も明後日も、もっと憎むべき相手、腹の立つ出来事を用意してやろうと。お金がない、不安だと欠乏を嘆きながら眠れば、そうか、欠乏が望みか、ならば、もっと困窮し、もっとお金の心配をしなくてはならない現実を完璧にデザインしてやろうと。宇宙は、皆様のオーダーを忠実に、あまりにも忠実に聞き入れるのです。皆様は毎晩、無意識のうちに、自分自身に不幸になれ、病気になれ、孤独になれと、呪いをかけ続けているのと同じなのです。昼間、どれだけ笑顔を作り、どれだけ懸命に汗水垂らして働いたとしても、夜、この悪魔の注文書を宇宙に提出している限り、人生が好転するはずがありません。自分で夜の畑に毒草の種をまき、朝になってなぜ美しい花が咲かないのだと嘆いている。なんと愚かで滑稽なことでしょうか。しかし、絶望する必要はありません。逆に考えれば、これほど希望に満ちた素晴らしい話もありません。もし皆様がこの間の数分間を奇跡の数分間に変えることができれば、皆様は人生を自分の思い通りに、いや、自分ごときが思い描くちっぽけな理想をはるかに超えたスケールで素晴らしくデザインし直すことができるのです。運命とは変えられない宿命ではありません。石に刻まれた文字ではないのです。それは粘土のようなもので、皆様の夜の心がけ一つで、明日からでも形を変えられる立て替え可能なものなのです。皆様は、ご自身の人生という映画の監督であり、脚本家であり、主演俳優です。そして、その翌日の撮影台本を書く時間が、毎晩の寝る前なのです。では、具体的にどうすればよいのか。難しい業法も、滝に打たれる必要も、高い壺を買う必要も一切ありません。必要なのは、皆様の心と言葉、そして少しの想像力だけです。これから申し上げる手順は、宇宙の法則に基づいた最強の開運儀式です。どうか騙されたと思って、今夜から実践してください。これは、皆様の魂を黄金に輝かせ、宇宙の無限の宝庫を開くマスターキーとなります。第一の鍵、それは徹底的な情報の遮断と心のみそぎです。まず、寝る1時間前、外の世界の雑音、他人の思惑、社会の喧騒をバサリと断ち切るのです。寝室は皆様だけの聖域、神社の中だと思ってください。そこに土足で世間の泥を持ち込んではいけません。そして、静寂の中で自分自身の呼吸に意識を向けてください。現代人は呼吸が浅すぎる。浅い呼吸は不安と焦りを呼び、自律神経を乱します。布団の上でゆったりと座り、あるいは横たわり、まずは口からふーっと深く、長く、細く息を吐き出すのです。この時、ただ空気を吐くのではありません。今日一日の中に溜まった疲れ、ストレス、他人の言葉のトゲ、自分の心に湧いた黒い感情、後悔、嫉妬、それらをすべて どす黒い煙として口から吐き出すイメージを持つのです。すべて出ていけ、宇宙の彼方へ消え去れ、浄化されよと念じながら、お腹が背中にくっつくくらいまで吐き切ってください。そして、息を吸うとき、今度は、宇宙の彼方、大いなる源から、キラキラと輝く金色の光、あるいは清らかな白い霧のような生命エネルギーが鼻から入り込み、喉を通り、肺を満たし、血液に乗って指先、足先、脳の血管、内臓の一つ一つに行き渡るのをイメージしてください。吸う息で光を取り込み、吐く息で闇を出す。これを数回、心が落ち着くまで繰り返すだけで、皆様の霊体は劇的に浄化され、波動が整います。これを古神道ではみそぎと言います。川の水で体を洗うだけがみそぎではありません。夜の呼吸一つで、皆様は日常の汚れを落とし、神聖な器へと戻ることができるのです。この心の入浴をせずに眠ることは、泥だらけの服で清潔なベッドに潜り込むようなものです。第二の鍵、それは記憶の書き換えと徹底的な感謝です。布団に入り、目を閉じたら、今日一日の記憶の編集作業を行います。今日、もし嫌なことがあったとしても、それをそのまま保存してはいけません。上司に怒られたシーンがあるなら、脳内でそのシーンを再生し、映像を変えてしまうのです。上司が笑顔で君のおかげで助かったよと言っているシーンに書き換える。あるいは、その上司が赤ちゃん言葉で喋っているような滑稽なシーンに変えて、笑い飛ばしてしまう。過去の事実は変えられませんが、過去に対する印象と感情は、今ここで自由に変えられます。嫌な感情を伴った記憶は、潜在意識に毒を残します。だから、夜のうちに、ユーモアや光で上書き保存してしまうのです。そして、何よりも重要なのが感謝です。これは最強の魔除けであり、最強の承服術です。布団の中で、今日あった良かったこと、ありがたかったことだけを、砂金取りのように探し出すのです。今日は信号が全部青だった。ついてるご飯が美味しかった。ありがたいお風呂が温かかった。極楽だ。どんな些細なことでも構いません。もし、今日は最悪な一日で、何一つ良いことなんてなかったと仰せる方がいるなら、私はあえて厳しく申し上げたい。それは皆様の目が節穴になっているからです。今、皆様はどこにいますか？凍えるような寒空の下ではありませんね。雨露をしのぐ屋根があります。体を横たえる布団があります。胸に手を当ててみてください。とくとくと脈打つ鼓動が聞こえませんか？皆様が眠っている間も、文句一つ言わず、24時間365日、皆様を生かすためだけに働き続けてくれる心臓があります。酸素を取り込んでくれる肺があります。今日一日、皆様の体を支え、文句も言わずに歩いてくれた足があります。消化してくれた胃腸があります。それらはすべて、皆様が作ったものではありません。お金で買ったものでもありません。大いなる宇宙の意志、神の愛によって与えられた借り物であり、奇跡的なバランスで維持されている生命の神秘そのものです。その事実に気づけば、感謝の言葉が出てこないはずがありません。涙が出るほどありがたいはずです。私の心臓よ、今日も動いてくれてありがとう。私の足よ、今日も歩いてくれてありがとう。布団よ、私を温めてくれてありがとう。今日であったすべての人よ、私に学びをくれてありがとう。一つ一つに、心の中で、あるいは小さな声に出して、お礼を言ってください。感謝の波動は、宇宙で最も高い、精妙な周波数を持っています。この波動に包まれて眠るとき、皆様の魂は、宇宙の最高次元、天国的な領域と共鳴します。すると宇宙はこう答えます。ほう、この魂はこれほどまでに現状に感謝しているのか。樽を知り、喜びを見出しているのか。ならば、もっと感謝したくなるような、素晴らしい現実を与えてやろうと。これが引き寄せの真髄です。不足を嘆けば不足が拡大し、感謝を捧げれば豊かさが無限に拡大する。ありがとうという言葉は、魔法の呪文です。夜、眠りにつく最後の言葉をありがとうにすること。これだけで、翌日の運気は天と地ほど変わります。第三の鍵、 それは予祝と完了型の言霊による未来創造です。眠りに落ちる直前、意識がトロトロとして、夢と現の境界線が曖昧になってきたとき、この瞬間こそがゴールデンタイムです。この時、皆様の魂はすでに半分、霊界に足を突っ込んでいます。潜在意識の扉は全開です。このタイミングで、自分の理想の未来を、あたかも今、すでに叶ってしまった現実として体験するのです。病気が治りますように、お金が入りますようにと願ってはいけません。しますようにという言葉は、今はそうではありませんという欠乏の宣言であり、潜在意識に欠乏を刻み込んでしまいます。そうではなく、完了型で、そして感情を伴ってイメージするのです。病に苦しんでいるなら、元気に野山を駆け回り、大笑いしている自分をありありと想像し、ああ、なんて体が軽いんだ。嬉しい、楽しい、最高の気分だ、と、その時の感情を先取りして味わうのです。お金や豊かさを求めるなら、通帳の数字が増えているのを見るのではありません。その豊かさを使って、家族とおいしい食事をし、大切な人を喜ばせ、安心感に包まれている光景を、五感を使ってリアルに感じるのです。笑顔、笑い声、温かさ、匂いまでイメージしてください。脳は、現実と鮮明な想像の区別がつきません。特にまどろみの時間はそうです。皆様が布団の中で、ニヤニヤするほど幸せな妄想をすれば、潜在意識はそれを現実としてインプットします。そして、そのインプットされた幸せな現実と、今の現実とのギャップを埋めるために、皆様が寝ている間に全力を挙げて、必要な情報、人脈、チャンス、直感を準備し始めます。そして、とどめの一撃として、心の中でこう強力な言霊を唱えてください。私は、日ごとに、あらゆる面で、ますます良くなっている。私は、宇宙に愛されている。すべてはうまくいっている。私は守られている。これらの言葉を、子守歌のように自分自身に聞かせ、魂に染み込ませながら、意識を手放すのです。最後の思考が、その夜の夢を作り、その夢が潜在意識を書き換え、翌朝の目覚めを作り、そして皆様の運命を作ります。終わりよければすべてよしとは、まさに一日の終わりのことを指すのです。どんなに失敗した一日でも、どんなに辛い一日でも、最後を感謝と希望の光で締めくくれば、その一日は宇宙のアカシックレコードに光の一日として保存されます。逆に、どんなに良いことがあっても、夜に不安を抱けば、それは闇の一日として記録されてしまうのです。皆様の中には、そんなことは頭では分かっているが、どうしても不安が消えない体が痛くてそれどころではないという方もおられるでしょう。わかります。人間だもの、心が弱る時もあります。嵐の夜もあります。そんな時は、無理にポジティブになろうとあがかなくていい。ただ、その不安や痛みを、自分自身と切り離してみてください。ああ、私は今、不安という感情を持っているな、痛みがここにあるなと、客観的に観察するのです。そして、宇宙という大きな母の胸に、その苦しみを丸ごと預けてしまうのです。神様、仏様、大宇宙の根源様、私にはどうすることもできません。この悩み、この苦しみ、この痛み、すべてあなたにお任せします。どうか最善の形にしてください。私はもう、手放します。これを全託と言います。自分で抱え込むから重いのです。執着するから苦しいのです。皆様一人の小さな頭で考えられる解決策など、たかが知れています。しかし、宇宙は無限の英知と無限の力を持っています。まな板の上の恋になるのです。ジタバタしても始まりません。大いなる流れに身を任せ、安心して眠ればいいのです。お任せしますと手放した瞬間、宇宙の力が流れ込み、解決への歯車が回り始めます。眠りとは、死の練習であり、再生への儀式です。毎晩、皆様は一度小さな死を迎え、朝、新しく生まれ変わっています。昨日のあなたと、今日のあなたは、実は違う存在なのです。細胞も新陳代謝で入れ替わっていれば、エネルギーも違います。だから、過去を引きずってはいけません。 私はもう還暦を過ぎたから学歴がないから失敗ばかりの人生だったからあの時あんなことをしてしまったから。そんなカビの生えた過去のデータは今夜の眠りで全部デリート、消去してしまいなさい。毎晩がリセットです。毎晩が神聖のチャンスです。あなたが私は今、ここから変わると決めた瞬間から、宇宙はその意志に従って動き出します。年齢など関係ありません。魂に年齢はないのです。肉体は置いても、魂は経験を経てより輝きを増していくものです。そして最後に、もう一つ大切なことをお伝えしましょう。それは、皆様の寝室を世界で一番のパワースポットにするということです。寝室が散らかっていれば、心も散らかります。枕元に不要なものを置かないでください。清潔なシーツ、心地よい枕、正常な空気。皆様は、毎晩そこで神様をお迎えするのです。王様や女王様が眠る場所のように、寝室を大切に扱ってください。環境が心を作り、心が現実を作ります。皆様、夜、布団に入るとき、これからはワクワクしてください。さあ、今夜はどんな素晴らしい夢を見ようか。今夜、宇宙の作戦会議室に行って、どんな素敵な明日を作ろうか。そうやって、子供が遠足の前日に胸をときめかせるように、眠りにつくのです。眉間のシワを伸ばし、口角を数ミリ上げるだけで、脳内には幸せホルモンが分泌されます。その幸福感の中で眠りについたとき、皆様は宇宙の創造主の懐に抱かれます。そこは絶対的な安心、絶対的な愛の世界です。そこでたっぷりとエネルギーを充電し、朝、目が覚めたとき、皆様は思うはずです。ああ、生きている。今日も新しい命をいただいた。何かが起こりそうな気がする。体が軽い。その直感こそが、人生が好転し始めた合図なのです。どうか、自分を卑下しないでください。皆様一人一人が、宇宙の一部であり、神の分け御霊なのです。皆様の中に、宇宙のすべてが内包されています。皆様が幸せになることは、皆様個人の願いである以上に、宇宙の意志であり、喜びなのです。不幸でいることの方が、よほど不自然であり、宇宙の流れに逆行する、努力が必要なことなのです。自然に、素直に、宇宙の流れに乗ってください。人生を難しくこねくり回すのはやめなさい。真理はいつだってシンプルです。出すものが、入ってくる。これだけです。夜、感謝と希望と光を出せば、朝、喜びと奇跡と幸福が入ってくる。さあ、今夜からです。憂鬱な夜はもうおしまいです。今夜から、皆様の布団を、願いを叶える魔法の絨毯に変えるのです。過去を悔やまず、未来を恐れず、ただいまここにある安らぎと、生かされている奇跡に感謝して、泥のようにではなく、光のように眠ってください。私がここから、皆様の眠りが守られ、皆様の魂が光り輝くよう、強く、強く記念しております。皆様の枕元に、宇宙の英知と無限の豊かさが降り注ぎますように、皆様の人生に、いやさかあれ、皆様の夜に、安らぎと愛あれ、そして、目覚めた朝に、希望の太陽が燦然と輝かんこと、出口鬼三郎でございました。ありがとうございました。
Give you a little piece of understanding about something. Sometimes it sounds to you like we're talking about two cut and dried worlds, in the vortex and out of the vortex, and in the vortex being non-physical and out of the vortex being physical. And those are not the distinctions that we're making at all, because you can be in the vortex and physical, meaning you can be in the vortex and manifesting things, because the only difference between what humans call physical or manifested and non-physical is that there's stuff that is manifesting. So we want you to understand that if you can separate these two concepts as vibrational concepts, in the vortex feels better, out of the vortex doesn't feel so good. In the vortex, higher vibration, out of the vortex, lower vibration. In the vortex, no resistance, only allowing. Out of the vortex, plenty of resistance, not allowing. So you're thinking about vibration relative to all of this. Then you begin saying, and this is the thing that we want you to understand, if you can get into the vortex for no reason, in other words, I'm going there because it feels good, period. I'm not going there for a Range Rover. I'm not going there for more money. I'm not going there for a lover. I don't have ulterior motives that are the reason that I'm going there. Because if you've got ulterior motives as the reason that you're going there, the ulterior motive that isn't yet satisfied, that isn't yet manifested, you're just practicing the absence of it. If you say, I'm going to go to the vortex, so here's how it goes. Oh, there's a vortex over there. I know. I think I'll go in. Why? I'm going to go into the vortex so that I can get my lover who isn't here. And out you go. I'm going to go into the vortex. I'm going into the vortex. I'm going into the vortex. I'm going into the vortex so I can find money that isn't here. So the reason that we want you to go into the vortex. I'm going to the vortex because it feels good. I'm going to the vortex because it feels good. I'm going to the vortex because it feels good. I'm going to the vortex because my heart sings there. I'm going to the vortex because I'm happy there. I'm going to the vortex for emotional reasons. I'm going to the vortex because I breathe more deeply there. I'm going to the vortex because I feel more clear-minded there. I'm going to the vortex for emotional reasons. I'm going to the vortex for emotional reasons. If you will go for emotional reasons, you'll get in and you'll hang around a little longer. And here's the thing that we so want you to hear. We almost shouldn't tell you, but we will. If you hang around in this vortex for the emotional reason that we're describing, stuff's going to start manifesting for you inside the vortex. You're going to be in the vortex with a Range Rover. You're going to be in the vortex with more money. You see what we're getting at? Because it is right that things materialize for you, but things that you want can't materialize for you if you're blocking them with your unworthiness. Now, doesn't the word unworthiness sound different than it did before?
Feels different.
Unworthy is not something that someone else can pronounce you. Unworthy is just something that you do to yourself because you refuse to go into the vortex. Or you go for the wrong reason and it spits you right out. For example, it's easy in this economic climate to think about shortage of money. Even though more wealth is being made by some people at this time than in all of the history of economics. But still, it's easier for most people to focus on shortage. It's easy for most people to focus upon the decline of their physical apparatus as they worry about their physical well-being, especially as they project themselves into the future. It's much easier if you walk about and if you were to be so bold as to say, I believe in my physical wellness. If you walked down any street in any city proclaiming your confidence in your well-being, you would be inundated with well-meaning, completely wrong people who would come forward to let you know you should not be so overly optimistic because haven't you heard about this or this or this or this or this? The facts of manifestation would be presented to you in order to get you to be convinced in your own vulnerability. And we want you to understand that even amidst all of this pessimism, it is astonishing to us to see people frantic about a healthcare system that from our point of view, you want never to need. It's like planning for your personal decline and everyone else's as well. Now, we are not encouraging you to not help out anyone who needs help. We just think that if you are convincing yourself all day, every day about your decline, Esther will listen to a comedian on television talking about old people, old, decrepit, declining, sexually devalued people. And she always says the same thing back to them. That's going to come back and bite you in the butt. Because they're not talking about themselves today, but they're talking about moving through time, and they are planning decline for everyone they see, and they are not leaving themselves out of it, we promise you. So we know that we are stretching you into some different ways of looking at things, because unless you are willing to accept that you are a vibrational being who lives in a vibrational universe, then you cannot begin to understand how things are happening in the way they are to you or to anyone else. In other words, until you make the conscious association between the source energy part of you and the part of you who is here focused in your physical body, you have no real guidance. You can't begin to consistently move in the direction of that which you are becoming. Most physical beings, almost as soon as they are born, begin monitoring their behavior and measuring it against the results that they get from other humans. So if you behave in a way that pleases the humans who are near you, they smile and they reward you with words and behavior. But if you displease them, you know that right away too, because they frown and they withhold and they punish. And so, without meaning to, you've been trained away from your guidance system by well-meaning others who are doing something that is virtually impossible. They're attempting to sort out all manner of manifestation and put it into piles of good and not so good and less good and really less good and terrible. They've sorted out these piles, and then they join together in groups as they try to protect their piles. It's such an interesting thing, the limitation of these piles. And what we're encouraging you to do is, rather than trying to join the group with the loudest voice or even the group with the strongest influence on you for whatever reason, we're encouraging you to try to let go of the influence that others have set upon you while you reach for the influence of the source within you. So what we're wanting you to understand is that what is, even if almost everybody you know has almost the same, similar, and maybe by your standard not wanted experience, it still has nothing to do with you, except that your attention to this unwanted experience causes you to practice the frequency of it, which means it will become your experience. And then they say, see, I was right. And we say, you weren't right, you were influential. You influenced people into a vibrational pattern of thought that did not serve them. And had they been aware that the emotion that they are feeling is their indication, it's not serving me now, it's not serving me now, it's not serving me now, it's not serving me now. And if you cared more about how you feel than about being politically correct or medically correct or statistically accurate, Esther will say, but Abraham, it's true. And we say, do you even know what those words mean? It's true. It's true. Do you know what it's true means? The phrase it's true simply means somebody gave their attention to something long enough to achieve a vibrational alignment with it, and law of attraction gave them what they were thinking about. That's what it's true means. If we were standing in your physical shoes, we would at least add another phrase to the words, it's true. And that other phrase would be, it's true and I want some of it. It's true and I want some of it. Because if it's true and you don't want any of it, it being true is not good enough reason for you to give your attention to it. Play it for a little while, over the next 5 or 10 days. It's true, but I don't think I would like any of that. But it's really true. But I don't think I would like any of that. It's going to be quite shocking to you how many things you give your attention to that are true, that you don't want to activate in your vibration, but you are because it's true. And we're encouraging you today to find a new criteria, a criteria that the source within you has found long ago. The criteria to give your attention to something is, does this that I'm holding as my object of attention resonate with the true core of my being? In other words, does it feel good when I think about it? This thing that I'm focused upon, is it in such vibrational sync with the source within me that when I focus upon it, I am wide open to the energy that creates worlds, allowing the cells of my body to accurately communicate with one another, bringing me thriving resonance and well-being? That's the sort of truth we would encourage you to look for. The truth, the only truth, of pure positive energy that ripples through your being when you find alignment with the source within you. That's truth. That's truth that will serve you. That's truth that will refuel you. That's truth that will rebalance you. That's truth that will give you clarity. We want you to realize that you were source energy before you came forth into this physical body. And a part of who you eternally are is focused now here in this body. So here you are, just like you knew you would be, sifting and sorting and expanding, coming to constant new conclusions about what would be better, how the world would be better, how government would be better, how your community would be better, how your body would feel better, how your personal circumstances would be better, how this relationship would be better, how that situation would be better, all day, every day, launching those rockets. And what we want you to know is that each time you offer one of those requests, it is pure to us. In other words, we stand in your vortex receiving your request. Your inner being becomes the vibrational equivalent of each and every request that you set forth. But as we said at the beginning of our conversation here with you today, often you don't go with your rocket. You stay outside the vortex, so to speak, justifying why you need or why you want the improvement. And as you beat the drum of the injustice that you're living, I don't have enough and it's not fair, and I've never had enough and it's never been fair, and those people around me don't have enough and that's never been fair. What you do, you don't mean to, but what you do is you keep active in yourself a vibration that prevents you from joining the vibration of your desire. That's why your desire doesn't feel good to you. Your desire doesn't feel good to you when you doubt it. Your desire doesn't feel good when you don't believe it. Your desire doesn't feel good when you don't feel worthy of it. Your desire doesn't feel good when you are in a state of blame or guilt or anger or frustration. But as long as you are feeling negative emotion, it means you're not up to speed with your desire. And that's logical in many cases, isn't it? Because what's been happening and what you've been observing is usually the reason that you're offering the vibration that you're offering. Most people are responding to what's happening around them. If someone is rude to you, maybe somebody you love, maybe somebody you don't even know, but if someone is rude to you and you observe their rudeness, you usually have a knee-jerk response to that. And if you keep it up, you're going to develop a pattern of believing that people are rude, or of believing that you are inferior in some way and attracting it. In other words, you're going to get a complex if you keep focusing upon things that keep happening and keep them active in your vibration. When we ask you if you know what you want or what you desire, do you know it? What we really mean is, are you in vibrational resonance with your desire? And if you are, your desire is manifesting all around you in lots of different ways. Because when you know it, which is even more than believing it, when you know it, there's no vibrational variance between what you're asking for or what you desire and what you're realizing, what you're receiving, what you're living. You just know it. So as we play with you with that question. It is our desire that because of the conversations that we have, that you do find that resonance with who you really are. And when you find that resonance, you know what we mean by that? You're vibrational. Do you know that? Most humans don't think of themselves as vibrational, but you are. And when you begin to think of yourselves as vibrational, everything gets easier for you in terms of understanding why things are happening the way they are, not only with you, but with everyone else. So we'll remind you briefly. We know you know. You've been hanging around us a while, haven't you? We know that you know that you are vibrational beings, or we want you to know that. We know it so much that we want you to know it. We know it so much that we can almost know it enough for you. If only it would work that way, yes? But there's a better chance of you knowing what we know when we know it. There's a better opportunity for you to find the vibrational resonance with something that we know when you are focused upon it. And most important, when you are looking for the evidence of this knowing within your own life experience. That's really the best part, because words don't teach at all. It is so odd that we offer so many. But we're just offering them all over the place. Esther, achieving vibrational resonance with that which we are. So she's knowing what we know, and then finding the words that best express what we know. So that as you focus upon these words that best express what we know, sometimes you find resonance with what we know through the listening of the words. But that is a scanty part of what you know. What you know really is coming through your own life experience. But oh, the best combination of all is for us to know it, for Esther to get it, for Esther to speak it, for you to hear it, for you to process it in that way, and then confirm what we know through the life experience that you are living. That's the way it works the best. So it's been very nice visiting with you. We'd like you to go out into the world. You are more than these bodies. You're coming to know that. And that is a key part of anything that you will happen to get or know as a result of playing with us. You are more than these physical bodies, and we so want you to know that. That larger part of you that existed before you came into this physical body still exists even though you are in this physical body. And that is such an important thing for you to know. It's so good when you know that all of you isn't here in this physical body. But it's really, really good when you know that you can find thoughts and therefore vibrational patterns. If you keep doing it, you call it beliefs. And if you really keep doing it, then it is your knowing. It is such a wonderful thing when you begin to consciously know that you can find vibrational resonance through the power of what you're focusing upon here with your mind today or any day. And that in finding that vibrational resonance, that larger part of you who existed before you came into this physical body, that larger part of you who still exists even though you are now in this physical body, that you have found such resonance with that larger part of you that it is now part of this conversation that you're having with these people you love, or this driving experience that you're having as you're moving down the freeway. When you start tapping in, tuning in, turning on to the wholeness of who you are, not only do you feel wonderful, it feels so good to really include all of you in the conversation. Not only do you feel really, 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 really wonderful now, meaning full of fun, full of clarity, full of sureness, steady, full of that vitality, eagerness for life, that tuned in, tapped in, turned on feeling. It's just the best of all feelings. And when you are here in your physical body, and by virtue of your practiced thought, you are now choosing thoughts that hold no resistance to who you really are. In the absence of that resistance, you allow that full connection. The gap closes between who you're being right here, right now, and who you really are in terms of all that you've become. So you were source energy before you came into this physical body. We're going to do this part fast because you've heard it so many times before. You were source energy before you came into this physical body, and a part of you came into this physical body where you are sifting and sorting through the contrast of your life, and you know what you don't want, you're knowing what you do want, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, sending off rockets of desire. And every time you send off a rocket of desire, you send momentum into your, what we have been calling your vortex of creation. It's a virtual vibrational reality, but it is a reality that exists just the same. It is the vibrational precursor to the things that will come into manifestation for you later on. So this vortex, this spinning vortex, spinning because law of attraction is gathering up all of the cooperative components, it exists as the vibrational version of all that you have become. And your inner being, that larger part of you, every time you know what you don't want, you send off that rocket of what you do want, and that larger part of you evolves to the fullness of that and holds that vibrational frequency so that you can feel your way to it if you want to. So why is that necessary? Because when you're sifting and sorting and knowing what you don't want and therefore knowing what you do want, we love you so much, you know what's coming next. We love you so much. We love you so much, you unfocused freaks. And we love you so much. We love you so much. You launch rockets that you are not a vibrational match to. Because even though for a moment you really knew what you wanted, you mostly know why you don't want the absence of it. And that's the practiced vibration. Even sometimes when you're using words, positive sounding words with that really great smile on your face, the universe is not responding to that. If it were, you'd have it made. But when you realize that you are offering a vibration and that you are a vibrational being and the law of attraction is responding to your vibration, when you ask for something that you don't have and that I don't have it is the predominant feeling within you, then you're not a vibrational match yet to what you've asked for. So there is a vibrational gap between what? Between where you are and what you want? Yes, we could say that, but it's an even more important vibrational gap. It's a vibrational gap between who you're letting yourself be and who you have actually become. And that's the part that you don't like, because in that vibrational gap, you experience the glorious evidence of your own emotional guidance system that's letting you know, hey. Well, your emotions vary, and hey to hey. But it's that vibrational variance between knowing who you are and really knowing who you are. When you feel negative emotion, it always means that your life has caused you to evolve to a frequency that you are not steadily maintaining. Not yet. You can, but not yet. So we have some analogies here for you today that are going to make it very easy for you to figure out what to do as you're moving through your day, different aspects of your day, under different vibrational conditions. We want you to realize that while you have created this vortex version of you, this vibrational version of you, that it is a reality that until it manifests, you're not that excited about calling it a reality, but we are, and you don't need to worry about it. It exists even in your ignorance of it. So if we can convince you that it exists, if you can just sort of take that on conceptual faith, if we can convince you that there is this vibrational version, then the only thing that you are wanting to be aware of is whatever you're doing with your mind right now is causing you to choose some relationship with some vibrational versions that you've set into motion. So we began describing to you that while this vortex is there, and we said to you, get in the vortex, become a vibrational match with your vortex. Now we are saying to you the same thing in a little bit different way. Understand what your point of attraction is, which is the same thing as saying, pay attention to how you feel right now. Because your emotions are letting you know the vibrational relationship that you have with this furthermost expanded version of you. So we want you to get the mental picture that there is a vibrational version that you've set into motion, and that as you stand in your now, depending upon what you're speaking about or feeling about or thinking about, you are establishing a relationship with this vortex version. But we also want you to know that when you're in a bad mood, you're launching a vortex version too. When you are in fear, you're launching a vortex version. When you're in joy, you're launching a vortex version. Now, the only vortex version that is being tended by us is that high frequency, that high flying, pure positive energy vortex version. That's where we reside, in a place of non-resistance. So when you launch one of those rockets, and we recognize it as that new expansion of you, we achieve the vibrational frequency with it, and we maintain. And it's important for you to know this. We maintain, we're talking about source energy, we're talking about your inner being, we're talking about all who love you, maintain that high frequency that you have achieved through the life that you have carved out. And it's like shining that frequency so that you will know it when you feel it. And, equally important, you will know it when you're not feeling it. In other words, you will know by the way you feel your vibrational relationship with that vortex version of you. You get to choose which disc you get on. In other words, it's all spinning, and law of attraction's gathering it up from wherever you are. And if you had an argument with someone last night and you're repeating it in your mind this morning, and you're defending, you're justifying, you know that you were right and you know that they are wrong, and you're irritated that they are stubborn, and you're all geared up really wanting to find a way to express to them with greater clarity what you know so that you can finally convince them of the rightness of what you are offering about, you get a pretty good vortex going there, and that's the vortex that you've chosen. And even though you've asked for all kinds of things up here, you don't have access to them. But you know what? You do have access to all kinds of things that feel like this. You are vibrationally choosing your points of attraction. And law of attraction is matching you up with experiences and people and thoughts and images that are in the same vibrational frequency. You cannot be on one frequency and receive something from another frequency. Law of attraction is making sure of that. But you can be aware of what your frequency is, and you can do something about it. And the reason that we are speaking to you in this way is because we know that through life you have developed patterns of thought, you've developed beliefs, you've developed ways that you look at things. And some of them, a lot of them in fact, serve you very well. And some of them, a lot of them in fact, are not serving you very well. But you're all over the place with them because you have not been evaluating the content of your thought by its vibrational nature, by its point of attraction nature, by its relationship with your vortex nature. You have not been evaluating. You've been evaluating it by the loudest squeaking wheel, or by the people who are up closest to you, or by the news media gets the most attention. You've been evaluating it in screwy ways. And we want to help you to understand that once you get hold of your understanding of what your emotions are about, and once you care about the frequency that you are broadcasting, because you want to claim what you've put into your vortex. You want to claim what you've put there because it is through life that you have created it. It's through life that you have expanded to that. It's through life that you have become that. And it's time for you to experience the fruits of your sifting and sorting experience. It really is. We just don't think you should have to croak to claim resonance with all that you've become. We think it's time for you to begin consciously experiencing it now.